Wow, this is beautiful. Thank you for being here. And I want to start by acknowledging all of you as my relatives because that's how I was taught by my elders, and that's how they were taught by their elders. So, as my relatives, I would like to also invite you to acknowledge the original people of this land, which is the Lakota people. I'm a guest here, and I'm very honored to be in their territory. I would also like to acknowledge this bottle of water. Actually, well, yeah, I do, but not the bottle of water, but what's inside the water, which is water, the Miniwichoni, which is the source of all life, and without it, I wouldn't be here, and none of us will be here either. So, relatives, I would like to invite you to go on this dream with me, and for that, it's gonna be really awesome because you're all gonna close your eyes. I'm not gonna poke you, I promise. So, close your eyes and just go with me in this journey. Take a few deep breaths with me and let go. One more time. Beautiful. This dream takes place at Standing Rock in North Dakota, near the confluence of the Missouri River and the Cannibal River. I'm camping with thousands of people, and next to me is my beautiful partner, Dorte, and our son, Tonatu, which is 7 months old. We just drove from Los Angeles for 1,400 miles, and we made it to Standing Rock. We're standing next to the sacred fire of the camp, and suddenly an auntie comes up to me and says, "Nephew, here's this bundle of tobacco. Go offer it to them. Their story is really important." I grab the bundle of tobacco, and I walk over to this man who seemed to be the leader of the group. And I asked him if I can please take the photograph of the people dancing afterwards. He says, thank you for asking, and yes, you may take their photograph. So now open your eyes. I'm going to show you what the dream looked like that day for me. This is my beautiful partner, Dorte, and our son. He's cute. His name means the one that brings the light, which now after going through this journey at Standing Rock, I understand more and more. This is the camp. Right when I got there, it was beautiful. Just looking at it brings me really good memories. And this is the photograph that I took of the Hopi dancers that I offered the tobacco to, which looking at it makes me so happy because I was the only photographer that was allowed to take that photograph. So the truth is that this dream never ended, and to a certain degree, it never really started. It was something modern and ancestral, a dream so abstract that it became real. And the amazing part was that I was able to document it from an indigenous perspective. The last year, Standing Rock became the epicenter of a modern indigenous rights movement in the United States. For almost a year, hundreds of tribal nations and allies unified in a historic gathering to oppose the Dakota Access Pipeline and to protect the waters of the Missouri River for potential oil contamination. For the most part, mainstream media parachuted into the story, but fortunately there was a core group of indigenous photographers, filmmakers, and citizen journalists that took the initiative to properly document it. We were telling our own story, and we were in charge of our narrative, and that was powerful. These are beautiful photos, right? The statistics show that indigenous people are underrepresented in the media. I just came back from New York from this beautiful fellowship with the Magnum Foundation. And I went to the headquarters of Time Magazine and meet with the editor. And I asked him how many Native Americans they hire in their staff, and he said 0. And then I went to the New York Times, and they say 0. And I realized that who's telling their story, and how are they telling it? Because that's really important. That's how we create our reality about people. That's how we perceive people. This is a cool guy from Fox News that was taking a video of me in North Dakota who didn't like me much. And this needs no caption. Standing Rock was about the narrative and who controlled that narrative. So when I documented, I committed to the story not because it was an opportunity to get assignments from major publications, but because it was the right thing to do. I didn't come into the camp for a weekend and then leave. I sacrificed my time with my family, my health, my safety, and my spiritual balance because I'm a human before I'm a journalist. The movement transcended from the opposition to the Dakota Access Pipeline, and it became an opportunity for indigenous people to reclaim our identity and to really enter that mainstream consciousness in a different way, much more different than what we have been perceived before from photographs like Edward Ernst Curtis and other people. Standing Rock was personal to us, so we invested ourselves fully, day in and day out. I ended up spending over 6 months there, and it was completely worth it. My images presented a side of the story often overlooked and misunderstood by the non-native photojournalists. These photos honor and celebrate the resilience of the water protectors and focus on the prayer instead of the controversy. They depict less of the conflict with the police and more of the historical power of the movement. I believe images need to go beyond a simple like on Facebook or a quick read on a news website. They need to have spirit so they can advance social justice and be a tool for change. As indigenous people, when we document, or at least when I document as an individual, we understand protocol and ceremony, and Standing Rock was a huge ceremony, and I think a lot of people didn't understand that. So we build trust and don't overstep. We ask for permission to photograph, respect the sacred sites, the sacred items, and the sacred songs. And we even put down our cameras, or at least I put my camera down a lot of times, in order to participate in the ceremony. I believe that we approach our photography in a unique and genuine way, and that allows us to really see the spirit of it. We are taught to be non-extractive, at least that's what I was taught by my Lakota elder. And that means that we're not just taking photographs, we're creating the images with our subjects. We knew not to photograph children, which was huge, which a lot of photojournalists didn't understand why. The sacred fire, or people riding horses with feathers just because they look native. I need to be completely transparent with you and acknowledge the fact that I am not Lakota. I'm an outsider too. I'm a Chica. But I had to learn their ways in order to photograph these people and properly give them respect in a way that they deserve. And that was a huge lesson for me. By following their ways, I was granted access to places and ceremonies no other photographer had access to, and I'm extremely grateful for that. Actually, this image right here was really powerful because we went to pray it was just me and the group of elders, and we went to pray by the drill pad in between the river and the drill pad in federal land. And the elders requested the federal government to go pray there. And they only allowed me to come. And I feel really grateful to have these images with me. We as indigenous people come from cultures that have been using storytelling to pass down traditions and creation stories since time immemorial. By telling our own story, we are reclaiming our identity and healing our historical trauma. I am hopeful that we can use these modern tools to preserve our stories and share it with the future generations. I realized that throughout this process, I've been just wanting to help the youth and the people in the reservations. And I've been to many reservations before, and I still don't understand it. But when I saw these kids up here, I realized that those are the kids that I want to help. So this young lady right here, this beautiful young lady, her name is Tokata Aranais, and she's from Standing Rock. She's a young Lakota leader and an amazing human. I actually met her when I was taking some video, and we ended up just developing a really good relationship. So when I was there, I decided, what can I do to help these kids tell their stories? So I bought disposable cameras, and I gave them to them. Only one came back, actually, which was hers. I was like, it was so funny. I was like, I'm going to go and do this, and 20, and then one of them came back. But that was all I needed, and I didn't know why I had to use that until I had to do this talk. So this is what you capture. I gave her a disposable camera, and to me, I'm a photographer, I'm all picky about my photographs, and I'm just like, this is an amazing image. Like she captured something so unique and so real that I couldn't teach her that because this is her people, this is her relatives, this is, in a way, her story. So she was just capturing what she saw. I gave them some assignments, and it was a learning experience for me too on how to connect with young people because I wish I had that when I was a young person myself. So we're in this point where we can do a lot. I personally think that we all have medicine and we all carry a special gift from Creator that we're supposed to do in this world, and especially for the young people. So, like we started with this dream that I told you about, and I hope this dream continues, not just with me, but I hope it really touches your hearts. We're talking about connection here, about Mitaki or Yasin, about the fact that you're my relatives too. So I hope this goes beyond just today, and when you look at a young person from any color or any place, you encourage them to dream. And this is my dream. My dream is that indigenous people, especially indigenous youth, will learn about the power of the camera as a tool for resistance, as a tool for healing, and most importantly, as a tool for hope. For all my relations and for the next 7 generations, we are standing strong. Thank you.